Fair Use Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. October 11th. Self-restraint. Our first objective will be the development of self-restraint. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 91. My drive to work provides me with an opportunity for self-examination. One day while making this trip, I began to review my progress in sobriety and was not happy with what I saw. I hoped that as the work day progressed, I would forget these troublesome thoughts. But as one disappointment after another kept coming, my discontent only increased and the pressures within me kept mounting. I retreated to an isolated table in the lounge and asked myself how I could make the most of the rest of the day. In the past, when things went wrong, I instinctively wanted to fight back. But during the short time I had been trying to live the AA program, I had learned to step back and take a look at myself. I recognized that although I was not the person I wanted to be, I had learned to not react in my old ways. Those old patterns of behavior only brought sorrow and hurt to me and to others. I returned to my workstation, determined to make the day a productive one, thanking God for the chance to make progress that day. Courage to Change, One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, October 11th. When I was a beginner in Al-Anon, it was suggested that I learn about the disease of alcoholism, and I became a voracious reader on the subject. As I read, I began to analyze everything. Was Al-Anon a philosophy or a philosophical system? What would be the logical outcome of believing in a power greater than myself? And just when was the alcoholic going to have a spiritual awakening? These questions and others like them kept my mind busy, but did not help me to get better. Fortunately, I continued to go to Al-Anon meetings, and I read, reread, and rehearsed the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Gradually, I began to catch on. When I stopped trying to analyze and explain everything and started living the principles, actually using them in my everyday situations, the Al-Anon program suddenly made sense and I started to change. Today's reminder: does analyzing my situation provide any useful insights, or is it an attempt to control the uncontrollable? Am I taking inventory or avoiding work that needs to be done by keeping my mind occupied? I have heard that knowledge is power, but sometimes my thirst for knowledge can be an attempt to exercise power where I am powerless. Instead, I can take the first step. There is a quote from Soren Kierkegaard, and it reads, "Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards." Just for today, Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts, October 11th. Eyeglasses and Attitudes. Our best thinking got us into trouble. Recovery is an active change in our ideas and attitudes. Basic text, page 55. In active addiction, the world probably looked like a horrible place. Using helped us tolerate the world we saw. Today, however, we understand that the world's condition wasn't really the problem. It was our ideas and attitudes about the world that made it impossible for us to find a comfortable place in it. Our attitudes and our ideas are the eyeglasses through which we see our lives. If our glasses are smudged or dirty, our lives look dim. If our attitudes aren't well focused, the whole world appears distorted. To see the world clearly, we need to keep our attitudes and ideas clean, free of things like resentment, denial, self-pity, and closed-mindedness. To ensure our vision of life is in focus, we have to bring our ideas in line with reality. In addiction, our best thinking kept us from clearly seeing either the world or our part in it. Recovery serves to correct the prescriptions in our attitudinal eyewear. By stripping away our denial and replacing it with faith, self-honesty, humility, and responsibility, the steps help us see our lives in a whole new way. Then the steps help us keep our spiritual lenses clean, encouraging us to regularly examine our ideas, our attitudes, and our actions. Today, seen through the clean lenses of faith and recovery, the world looks like a warm, inviting place to live. Just for today, I will view the world and my life through the clean spiritual lenses of my program. Today, Emotions Anonymous, October 11th. Reflection for today. My outside appearance is a good indication of how I feel inside. When my inside emotional stability is running amok, it is time to start getting the outside in order first. Are my clothes clean? Do they need repairs? Is my hair combed and washed? And does it need cutting or curling? How about a long hot bath or shower? When was the last time I visited the dentist or had a good physical from my doctor? I need to make certain my emotional difficulties are not aggravated by a physical ailment such as allergies, blood sugar fluctuations, or chemical imbalances. Now that I am refreshed and looking good, I can call some friends for coffee or lunch, or I can have people come over to my place for a visit. Doing these things can help to change my attitude. Meditation for today. My body houses the soul you gave me. Help me to keep it in good working condition. Today I will remember. Taking care of myself means physically, mentally, and emotionally. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. October 11th. Addiction to excitement. Gossip, dramatic scenes, pending financial failure, or failing health are often the turmoil that adult children create in their lives to feel connected to reality. While such behavior is rarely stated as such, these behaviors are an addiction to excitement or fear. BRB, page 16. Many of us came into ACA perhaps unaware of the depth of chaos we had created around us. We felt we were in a fog we couldn't see our way out of. We didn't consciously cause this chaos. Our behavior resulted from the emotional and perhaps physical chaos we experienced in our childhood, dysfunctional, abusive homes. As we learned more about our addiction to excitement that drove us, we began to see how our fear was feeding us. And we realized that we needed this inner drugstore to be closed for business. The adrenaline rush that we were not even aware of was blocking any progress. We knew the chaos had to stop. As we find the answers in our meetings and by talking to others, we begin to nourish ourselves with a healthy program that brings us peace and serenity. We become committed to change because we've had the pain and anguish and want to be done with it. We now have the inner radar to see what is coming, and when something feels wrong, we pause as long as we need to. Then we move away. We realize the health of our inner child is at stake. The affirmation reads, "On this day I will give my inner child and my adult the gift of freedom from fear and unhealthy excitement that we both need and deserve." Please like, share, subscribe, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be. To remember that you are not alone and that recovery is possible, one day at a time.